Hello everyone, Onika here, and I'm back with another episode review of Insecure, and today I'll be talking about the newest episode of Insecure, episode 4, Low-Key Losing It. But before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. You can also find me on Facebook, IG, and Twitter, and I'll be sure to leave all that information for you below in the description box. Without further ado, let's jump into this review of Insecure Season 4, Episode 4, Low-Key Losing It. Dun, 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 dun. This is where the music would be. Okay, whatever. I'll probably cut that out. All right. So this episode, just like the second one, felt a little short to me, but maybe it didn't feel short to you guys. It felt really short to me. Where do I begin? Where do I even start with this episode? So it opens up with Molly and Andrew. They're about to do their thing. Molly, as we all know, is a lawyer, and she's working tirelessly to find LaToya. Joking. She, I think, is a corporate lawyer, so she's not looking for LaToya at all. But she is watching the show, and she does care. Anyway, her and Andrew, I guess, haven't had a lot of time to spend together because she's so busy. So that's probably going to be a bit of a little issue moving forward. I don't know. I trust that Molly will make the best decision for her relationship because she really likes Andrew and she wants this to work. We're going to jump to Tiffany's house. Issa and Molly meet up at Tiffany's house to see the baby, and they have this kind of weird moment with the parking lot. Like, it was a weird thing. Molly thought Issa was leaving the parking spots. Issa thought Molly was going to go around her. It just was a mess. And honestly, to be fair, Molly, you could have definitely went around Issa and just spin the block one more time, because Issa was clearly trying to park. I'm not sure if anyone drives. Like, if you're watching this, I drive sometime, and it's very clear when someone's trying to park their car. It's actually very fucking clear if you're a good driver. So before they go into the house, they have a little chat outside of Tiffany's house, and we learn that they haven't been doing self-care Sundays together. This episode opens up with it being 1 month away from the block party. So just to put some things to perspective, their last time doing self-care Sunday might have been the first episode. So that's kind of sad to hear, because even as us, the audience, we know that their friendship is starting to dwindle a little bit, but I don't want them to give up on self-care Sundays. So that means they haven't been hanging out, and that's really, really scary, because I want this relationship to work. It just needs to work. And Molly asks Issa if she's still down to do self-care Sundays. I kind of felt like Issa isn't down to do that anymore. Like, because she was like, yeah, sure, yeah. Like, high-pitched voice bullshit. I don't think Issa wants to do self-care Sundays with Molly anymore. But I don't know why. Whatever. So they go into it's not a party, it's a kickback. They're just here to visit the baby. And they're just chatting with each other, this and that. And Tiffany is telling the ladies about her experience at the hospital. The doctors were not listening to her about her she was uncomfortable, and it turns out she had a blood clot, and that leads Derek to like curse out the doctors, yada yada yada. And Molly sympathizes with this, saying that it's great that you have a man that's going to fight for you, and that you guys, can communicate well. That's something that her and Andrew are definitely working on in their relationship. And that's when Issa slides in with a shady ass comment about Jada and the Red Table Talk. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I really, really feel like this relationship could be mended if they just had a conversation. I think Issa's being shady, and if you go on Twitter or whatever, everyone will have you believing that Molly's the aggressor. I really feel like Issa is the one that's doing the most. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion. Even though Issa says she was playing with her comment about Molly being like Jada from the Red Table Talk, giving out love advice, it just came off a little shady, because it's just like, we all know that this is Molly's first like real relationship that she's really trying. The last thing we want to hear is our friend like being shady, especially if this is a friend that you're kind of on the rocks with. It's just like, it's not time for jokes here. Nothing's funny. Everything you say will be taken seriously. You're not joking. And I don't blame Molly for feeling like that. I really think we've witnessed Molly be kind of the butt of a lot of relationship jokes. And now to see her actually try, it must be frustrating to be the bid. Basically, she's the bed, and Issa just keeps clowning her about it. And I don't think Issa really takes her relationship with Andrew seriously. We even see that in a future scene in this episode where she assumes that Molly and Andrew broke up. And it's just, I don't think Issa has a lot of faith in Molly's ability to be in a relationship and make a relationship work, and it shows. And I really think that's what frustrates Molly, because you're supposed to be my friend, and like you're not supporting me, you don't think I can do this. It's just very frustrating. We witnessed Issa and Molly talk to Kelly and Tiffany separately about their concerns about one another, and both Kelly and Tiffany are kind of like, oh, it's probably just a miscommunication, or just say something to her. They kind of shrug it off because Molly and Issa aren't talking to each other, and they're also not talking about each other to other people. So for Tiffany and Kelly, this is kind of new to them as well. Like, oh, y'all beefing? I didn't know. Like, it's probably nothing. Like, this can all be solved with some communication. And to be honest, as a fan of the show, it's getting really hard to watch Molly and Issa do scenes together because it's so cringy. It's so tight. The tension is just there. And it's there for no reason, I feel. If Issa has an issue with what Molly said to her in the first episode, which in this universe was probably 2 months ago, she should have said something. And she didn't. And vice versa for Molly as well, because Molly bites her tongue a lot too. And they both need to just work on communication with each other. We also learn in this episode that Issa's headliner has dropped out of the block party. For those of you who don't remember, Issa's headliner is Schoolboy Q. That was odd to hear that happen. I don't know how securing headliners go, but I would assume there's probably a contract involved. So to hear that he's just dropped out of the block party is really suspect. And this is the first episode where we don't see Condola. Condola's been in every episode up until now. We don't know where she is. The last time we see Condola, Lawrence and Condola are having a disagreement about Issa. I hope there's no shady shit happening. I hope Condola did not cut Schoolboy Q out of the block party. I really don't peg her for that type of person, but you never know. But it looks really bad on her if she did. I'm willing to chalk this up to just some behind the scenes like bullshit. But this sends Issa into a frenzy. She just prints out her flyers and she's looking for new like local LA talent, and she finds DJ Mustard. I'm not sure if you guys know him, but he's worked with people like what's his name? Roddy Ricch, like the song Balling. I can't play it because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but look it up. It's a good song. I love that song. Anyway, it turns out I think DJ Mustard is represented by Live Nation. And who works at Live Nation? Andrew. Who's Andrew? Molly's boyfriend. So Issa gets the great idea to call Molly and ask Molly if she can talk to Andrew to see if it's possible to get this guy to be the new headliner. Okay. I feel like I've just said a lot and I'm talking so fast. I did take a little bit of an issue with her doing that. I don't think it's necessarily wrong for her to ask. If I had a friend whose boyfriend worked for Roc Nation and I'm trying to get somebody to come to my event, I would most likely do the same thing. I just think Issa's under a lot of pressure right now, and she's blinded by like aspirations and ambitions that she doesn't really see that this probably isn't the best time to ask your friend who you're low-key on the rocks with to do a favor for her boyfriend, that for a relationship that you're not even taking seriously. Like, you don't know anything about the relationship between Molly and Andrew, and it's clear. So I can see why Molly would be offended by it. We learn later in the episode concludes with Molly calling Issa to tell her that she will not be asking Andrew if he can look into getting DJ Mustard to be her new headliner. It was a hurt piece seeing that, and I'm 50-50 on that decision. I get why she probably didn't want to do it. Like I said, these two aren't really on speaking terms, so it's just weird. Like, it's a weird request, and it honestly comes out of nowhere when you and I aren't even in a good place. Would I have done it? At least I would have still asked Andrew if it was me, but then I would have immediately told Issa, like, we need to talk now. Like, this is going too far. I think you're being shady, but you're asking me to do favors because my boyfriend works at Rock Nation, Live Nation. Like, they need to have a conversation. It's very clear that Molly feels uncomfortable, and I even think that Molly felt uncomfortable saying no. I do think Molly probably really wants to help Issa, but she feels like she's being used. This is the first conversation in a couple of episodes where Issa calls Molly, you know, hey, I need your help, I'm your best friend. We haven't even heard these two call each other best friends. Like, every episode has been so effing cringy, so it feels like it's coming out of nowhere. Like I said, I don't blame Issa for asking Molly if she can do it. I just don't think Issa's reading the room right now, and she's blinded by her ambition, which she's trying to throw a block party. She's really passionate about this, so I don't think she means any harm, but it just comes off a little distasteful. You guys let me know in the comments how you feel about Molly and her decision to not tell Andrew that Issa needs help securing a new headliner. But that's really the meat and bones of this entire episode. This entire episode really focused a lot between Molly and Issa. We got a second chance to really get a glimpse into their relationship and how it's really dwindling. The next episode is the block party, so by then it should be January. I'm guessing every episode is like a month or so, and it looks like it's going to be good. I don't know. Before I conclude, there is a lot of small details in this episode that I really liked. Going to my notebook. I'm just going to. Yes. So these are the mini details in the episode that I thought were like really cute. The first one being Sapphire, Issa's pretend assistant. I just love that she does that, because I do that too. When like numbers call me, I pretend that it's not me, then it is me. So I just think that's a good way to like screen your calls, because sometimes you don't know who's on the other line. You just don't know who's on the other line. You gotta do what you gotta do. We also get Nathan back. Even though he's not physically there, he does call Issa to congratulate her on the success of her block party planning. We get to hear his voicemail. Can I just say that, like, Nathan sounds like he looks good on the phone. Like, his voice just is so sexy. Like, I really just want her to be with him. Because I feel like we never really got a reason for why he left. I always took the last episode of season 3 as him having maybe like depression or something, and that's why he ghosted her. Like, they never tell us why. So I like that he's still around. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Nathan was Andrew's roommate, or that they lived together. Like, so I'm a little confused on why we haven't seen him, because I thought he lived with Andrew. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yes, he leaves Issa a voicemail congratulating her and saying, you don't gotta call me back or nothing. First of all, no one leaves a voicemail if you don't want the person to call you back. So why even say that dumb shit? But she's not going to call him back, I think. I don't know why but she is busy. She probably just doesn't want to deal with any like shenanigans right now. But I really do hope we get to see Nathan again. I just think they had a really good chemistry, and it was so opposite her and Lawrence. But they need to tell us why he went away. Like, does he have depression? Like, I just don't know. Like, they never cleared that up for us, because I'm like, you can kind of give that a second chance if you want to. I'd be down with it. I think I'd be more down for that than I would be if you do that little stuff with Lawrence. Speaking of Lawrence, like I said, Condola is not in this episode at all. Lawrence and Issa are both at the house visiting Tiffany and the baby and Derek, and they step outside of the house to just chit chat, you know, and Lawrence wants to tell her something. What do you guys think he wants to tell her? I personally think he wants to maybe discuss dating. I don't know. I think him and Condola might have chilled out and they're not really seeing each other anymore. There's been a lot of like signs leaning towards Lawrence reconsidering his decision to not work it out with Issa. So I do think he's having a bit of a change of heart, because as you guys remember, he doesn't even really know why Issa cheated on him. Like, they never had that conversation as like partners. Like, this is what led me to do this. We never got that. We got closure in was that season 2, I think, where he comes back to the apartment to like finally get all of his stuff. It's like the last episode, I think. and they say sorry to each other, but they don't. I really don't think Lawrence knows why he got cheated on. So it would be good for him to maybe hear that. If you believe in closure, do you guys want them to get back together? Do you guys think Lawrence is foul for trying to get that old thing back? I don't know. I just think Lawrence is in like a weird time in his life because it's very clear that he wants a family, and he thought maybe he thought he can have that with Condola, but Condola's like, listen sis, I just got divorced. Like, I'm not here to be like your wife, you know? So those are some of the things that stood out to me. Something else I thought was really funny. Tiffany talks about how she hasn't showered in like 3 days, and all the women are like, oh, you're glowing. And I low-key felt that because it is quarantine, and if I wasn't doing these videos, I would have little to no reason to wash. Like, I really wouldn't, aside from like washing for like fun, like to waste time. Like, it's been days where I've taken like a long ass shower just to waste 40 minutes of my day. But if I wasn't doing these videos, I don't think I would be washing. So I felt Tiffany when she said she hasn't bathed in 3 days and she's just gross, because honestly, I'm gross during quarantine. It is a mess. I definitely felt that. I also wanted to I wanted to talk about the doctor comments. So when they're visiting Tiffany, she does mention that she was experiencing some like uncomfortability giving birth, and the doctors were just dismissing her uncomfortability. That is a real thing. That is not the first time I've watched or heard Black women, especially Black and brown women, talk about their experience with doctors in the hospital. There's legit studies and articles out that confirm this as well, that doctors have a hard time listening to people of color for whatever reason, especially women. They even bring up the fact that Serena almost died giving birth as well. Doctors, if you're watching this, please listen to women of color, take their concerns seriously. My own mother, when she was giving birth to me, she had complications with her doctor as well. She had a C-section, and she was trying to tell them that, like, I can feel you guys, I'm not numb. Like, she felt them cutting her for the C-section. So it is not in any way a joke or like a farce that doctors have a hard time or have a record of not listening to Black and brown women. So please listen to Black and brown women, especially pregnant Black and brown women, when they tell you some shit. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. This episode wasn't as good as the last one. I did enjoy it. I felt like it went by a little quickly, but I didn't think it was as powerful as the previous episode, Low Key Thankful. But this was still good, and this was the first episode where we don't see Condola. So is she coming back? Is Condola leaving and Nathan's coming in? I don't know. A little switcheroo. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode's review of Insecure episode 4, Low Key Losing It, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Peace. Oh, wait, before I go, happy May 4th. May the force be with you. I'm out.